welcome back to my channel. It's Paula here. So as the title of this video says, I am traveling to Slovakia for a week to visit my boyfriend, and I always bring books with me to read because between the flights and the time that I'm there but he has to work, I basically just read. So I thought I could do a little what I read on vacation vlog. So I just finished packing my little suitcase and I am packing my backpack. So since I'm doing my backpack now, I need to figure out what books to bring to Slovakia. Except I kind of already know, because I thought it would be fun if I let my sister and my boyfriend each choose a book to read. So my sister chose Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. Honestly, she doesn't really know a lot about the books that I read because she reads, but her book taste is very different than mine. And as lucky as she was, she just chose a random book in my bookshelf, and it happened to be one of the ones that I hadn't read before. So hopefully I will be reading Yellowface by R.F. Kuang in this trip. And then my boyfriend chose The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. To be honest, he does not know anything about this book. He kind of just told me to point out the romance books in my shelf, and he chose this one. He wanted me to read a romance while I was there, so... The only issue with this one is that it's very, very long. It's like over 500 pages, so we'll see if I can finish it. So yeah, these are the two books I'm gonna be reading in my trip. If I'm being honest, I don't think I'm gonna carry both of them just because I don't really have that much space. So I think I'm gonna bring with me the Mariana Zapata book because the Yellowface one is bigger. So I do have a Kindle version of Yellowface, so I will bring my Kindle with me and I'll read it there even though I have the physical copy. And since I said I'm gonna be bringing my trusty Kindle with me, I will probably read Yellowface here, and I do have a lot of other books saved on my Kindle, so maybe if I do finish those two, which I doubt it, I can try and pick up another one on my Kindle. So I'm gonna be putting this in my backpack.
I think the day after. I think the last thing I recorded was in the plane. So far during this trip, I've only read during the flight here. Yesterday I got to my boyfriend's place like quite late, so I obviously didn't read them. And then this morning I had a very exciting appointment, so I also wasn't able to read. But now, finally, I get to sit down and read my book. I'm trying to talk quietly because my boyfriend is right now working in the next room over, so yeah. So far in the plane I got to page 114, so I've read this much of the book. So far I think I'm liking the book. I feel like you can definitely tell this is gonna be a slow burn because we are 100 pages in and like contact has been minimum. Not in like physical contact, just like face-to-face contact. Absolutely nothing romantic so far. Like, I don't know how we're supposed to be rooting for this guy because honestly, he sounds a little bit like an asshole. It's over 100 pages over, and I feel like we're still, like in another book that wouldn't be like slow burn, like all of this could have happened in like maybe 50 pages. Because like, if someone asked me, oh, what has happened during this 100 pages, I'd be like, well, Miss Girly quit, and then the guy made her a proposal. That's it. I feel like it's very stretched out, but also it's very easy to read and ages very fast. So those like what I think 3 hours were the flight like went by very fast reading this, so that's good. But as I said, as of right now, I don't care much for the male lead. I feel like he's just there and he's a little bit of a douche. I am excited though because I can finally start reading. As I said, my boyfriend is working right now, so that means that I have like a couple hours of just reading for myself, so that's great. Thursday now. Again, morning again, trying to be quiet. Yesterday I read in the morning while my boyfriend was working, and then once he finished, we kind of just stayed in. We watched some movies, and then before sleeping I kept reading a little bit. So I read quite a lot. I reached chapter 24, which is page 390. So that means I read what, like 250 pages yesterday. In a couple hours we are going out. We are gonna spend some days in Nitra. I am staying in Bratislava. So today we are taking the car, and then I think it's like an hour and a half trip, and then we're going to Nitra and we're gonna spend a couple days there. And because we're gonna spend some time with my boyfriend's family, I don't think I'm gonna read that much. So I wanna try and finish this before we leave today. I don't know how realistic that is, but I'm still gonna try. Also, my thoughts right now. I feel like we're getting a little bit more and more of the main character, like the male main character, because I feel like the girl's main character, obviously we are in her POV, we know a lot about her, we know how she feels and what she thinks at all moments. But the male main character, he's got like a wall. Like, yeah, he's supposedly like, you know, he's called the wall of Winnipeg. So he's a wall like size-wise, but also like when it comes to emotions and stuff, he doesn't show anything. Anyway, so there's this point where Vanessa goes back to visit her family, and she told Aiden, the male main character, if he wanted to go with her. He was like, yeah, we can go together. And then last minute he cancels, and she has to go alone to visit her family, and her family situation is absolute shit. Like, it is a shit show. And honestly, I just feel like after that whole thing, I was like, there's no way I'm rooting for Aiden at any point, because I don't know, I feel like absolutely no emotions, absolutely no interest so far. Then we get a little bit further in the story, and this scene with the elevator, that scene was so cute. I feel like not only that's probably the most physical contact we've gotten so far, but also like the sharing, like Vanessa sharing what her fears are and stuff, and just Aiden being there and supporting her. I thought it was very, very cute. So I really liked that scene. I think I just left off where their marriage is announced. Well, it's been a while since their marriage was announced, but just kind of like the progression of it, and then Aiden fighting for her. That was cute. I have to admit, that was very cute. So I'm starting to see the positives of this guy. I'm gonna stop talking. Hopefully I can finish this before we have to leave. The Christmas scene, it's so cute. Oh my god, she got him a puppy, a very cute little dog. And then she was like obviously not expecting anything from this guy, because like he never gets gifts for people, like never. He barely remembers like stuff, and she was not expecting anything, especially because when she was his assistant, he would be the one telling her like, hey, buy something for this person, and that was it. He has never actually bought anything for anyone. He got her a gift, and it was such like personal, meaningful gifts. Please, that is like, okay, that look is bare minimum, but for someone who never does it, for him to do it for her, it was so cute. Oh my god. He got her like these like flashlights because she was scared of the dark, and he got her like one in like every color that she's had her hair dyed. Please. Okay, so here's the thing. I need to go. Like, I tried to push it as long as I could, but I really need to go now, and I'm like 13 pages left. Like, And I'm like, I'm so close to finish it. It's like, I feel like I have like 13 pages left. And it's so, like, the slow burning finally got to the burn. And it's so, like, oh my god, I'm so invested in this right now. And I need to go. And I cannot push it. Okay. I'm so mad about this. I'm genuinely so upset about this. Okay, so it's Tuesday. Yeah, I didn't record for like, what, 4 days? You know what, I'm not gonna feel guilty. Because yes, I wanted to read during this trip, but also I am here to spend time with my boyfriend and his family. So it's fine if I didn't read for 4 days. It's not the end of the world, honestly. But yeah, we went to my boyfriend's father's house in the countryside in Nitra. That was very, very fun, but I couldn't really read. I think I only read, like, the only thing that I read during that, like, 4 days, I think, was like the 13 pages that I had left of The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I did officially finish The Wall of Winnipeg and Me during those days. Those 13 pages, please, please. They really did have me kicking and giggling. I love those 13 pages and how you can definitely tell this is a slow burn because they don't get together until the last like 15 pages out of a 500 page book. But it was so sweet. I think it was a very well done like love confession. I thought it was very cute. It was definitely very realistic with these characters. I did remember talking at some point about how the guy was just not feeling that likable to me, and it's because I am used to really talkative person, or like people who can express themselves very well when it comes to love. So not only will they do like things for the people they love, but they will also repeatedly tell you. So that's the people that I'm used to. But this man is more of a being quiet and quietly doing things for the people that he loves. So you can like see that throughout the whole book. And I feel like that's just something that I was missing because I was so focused on like big declarations or like expressions of feelings. I do think the very few expression of feelings from this man was right at the end. I did feel like that was very fitting for his character. During the months that this story happens, he's been doing like little things for the main character. Some not so little things, just, you know, being there for her, supporting her. So I do think I just was missing that. I was just like missing the whole point of that while I was reading it, but right at the end I was like, okay, yes, this was great. Those 13 pages were the last thing that I read in the past like 4 or 5 days. Again, I was at my boyfriend's dad's house, so I was with his family spending time, and then I also have classes on the weekends. So I had to go to class while I was there, so there was just no time for me to read. And now, unfortunately, I am getting ready to leave. Like, my suitcases are all packed already. Not all, I only have one mini suitcase, but it's completely packed. My backpack is also packed. We are leaving to the airport in like an hour. So this is all I've read in this trip, but I still have like 3.5 hours of a flight to get through to go home. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna read on my Kindle, and I am finally gonna read Yellowface. Am I gonna finish it in those 3.5 hours? Probably not. But I do want to get started because it's one of the books that I definitely wanted to read this year. It's in like my 24 books for 2024. If I don't finish it today, I will definitely finish it either tomorrow or the next day, but I will be reading this. I guess the next time you see me actually talking will be when I am home already. So I'll see you there.
I am back. Not gonna lie, that was a very fun trip. Like, I love going to Slovakia to see my boyfriend, spend time with him and his family. But we both got sick. And then the flight here was an absolute nightmare. yeah, the plane dropped a few meters. Like, it just, so scary. But I'm finally home after all of that. So, you know, we're good. I spent like around a week in Slovakia, and I read a lot during my first flight. I read so much there. And then while my boyfriend was working, I also read a little bit more of that book, and I finished it. So I read one book. Yeah, but then we obviously, both of us fell sick, and we also traveled a little bit to the outskirts so we can go to the countryside and visit his family. And obviously I was not gonna read while we were visiting, so like around the middle of the trip up to the final part of it, I did not read anything. I only started my next book once I was in the plane. And then, as I said, that flight was an absolute nightmare. It started very good, and then in the middle, a shit ton of turbulences, and then, you know, we dropped a few meters from the sky. Yeah, you know, like those little pills sometimes you have before a flight? Yeah, I took 2 to put me to sleep. They didn't, and I cried. It was a whole thing. I don't like planes, honestly. So I didn't get to read that much, but I still read a little bit. So let's talk about what I read during my little trip to Slovakia. Okay, so starting with the first flight, I started The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. Now this book was so cute. I honestly really enjoyed it. I don't know, I didn't have many thoughts going into it. I knew what it was about, which honestly that should come as a surprise in this channel. Yeah, I knew it was a romance. I knew it was kind of like a marriage of convenience for a visa, and that the main character is a football player, an American football player. I'm in Europe. Football is soccer. We don't talk about that. It's football here. I was slightly intimidated. Not so much because it's a romance, so romances don't really intimidate me because I feel like they're gonna be very easy and fast to read. But this is a 500-page romance, and I don't think I've ever read a romance that's that long. Honestly, at the beginning, I was just questioning the couple. I was just questioning why I was supposed to root for this man that is basically, he basically has the emotions of a wall. Like the Wall of Winnipeg, not only because he's big, no, talking with him apparently is like talking with a wall. So at the beginning that was hard. Like I could not connect with this man at all. And I don't think you get to have a deep connection with this character. I don't think that's his purpose. I don't think you can get to like, especially since we don't get his POV, you don't really have that, you know, strong connection. But you can see how he treats our main character, Vanessa, throughout the story. And that's, at some point you start rooting for them. So that was good. And there were some parts here that definitely made me like kick and giggle. It was very cute. It was very cute. And even if it was like 500 pages, it went by quite fast. Like it was so easy to read and you just kept going and kept going. One thing I do have to say, the amount of times that Mariana Zapata describes the male character as the Wall of Winnipeg kinda killed me. At least like once in every chapter, she would say, the man that they call the Wall of Winnipeg. And I was just like, we got that. I can promise you, we got that. But yeah, that was The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I think I'm gonna give this book a 4 stars because it was very fun. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. The romance was very cute. The characters, I do feel like the main female character, Vanessa, was quite developed. And I did connect with her in a lot of levels, so I appreciated that. And then again, the guy ended up being very cute. More of a acts of service than words of affirmation type of guy, but that was completely fine by me. And yeah, if anything, the only reason why I didn't give it a 5 star, in some parts I definitely feel like the plot was just dragged for no reason. It could have kept the same timeline and the same pace without having had to be so long. And then yeah, the man who everyone knew as the Wall of Winnipeg. I swear to God, I don't know how many times I read that line and I just wanted to die every time a little bit more. But apart from that, like those were my only 2 issues, and given that it's a romance, it did what it had to do. It was very fun, it was very cute, and I was very happy reading it, so 4 stars. And then the other book that I read during the trip, or more like on my way back from the trip, is Yellowface. Now, as I said in the beginning of the video, I was not about to bring 2 books with me to Slovakia because I knew I was gonna go to my favorite bookstore in the world. So far, because I haven't gone to many, but that one, I love that one so much. So I knew I was gonna go there. So I was like, okay, I need space in my suitcases to put more books that I'm gonna buy. So because of that, I got Yellowface on my Kindle and I read it from there. I started in the flight back. Honestly, I am still in it. I think by the end of the flight, I had only read like 30% of it. That is because of my whole little anxiety attack in the plane where I cried because the plane was moving too much. So that was so yeah, that wasn't great, but at least I got to read a little bit. Yellowface follows this woman who is an author, but is honestly not a very acclaimed author. She had one debut novel that did very, very badly, and she's friends with this Asian American author that is doing freaking amazing. She just got a Netflix deal. She has different best-selling novels. Her debut novel was amazing. She had so many interviews. So our main character, June, she is very jealous of her friend Athena Liu, who is her more successful author friend. And one night, they're just hanging out and Athena Liu dies. She dies. Like, that's not a spoiler, it's literally the synopsis of the book. Anyway, so when she dies, June, who is in her apartment, decides to just randomly take her manuscript. Which for me is just wild. Your friend just died in front of you. And in between like the whole police coming and the ambulance, what you do is you just steal from her. And then she goes on this like, honestly, I would call it a crisis because it was just wild. She takes the manuscript and she's like, oh my god, this is amazing, this is perfect literature. I'm gonna be the good friend and I'm gonna polish it for her. So that is the first draft of the manuscript, so she starts like finishing it. She's gonna finish it so that she can share with the world what her friend wrote, right? And then at some point she's like, well, I am mostly rewriting this. You know what? The manuscript was not perfect. It was not perfect, so I am making it better. I am changing some things because she did it wrong and it was too complicated. So I am editing it and I'm making it better. And then when she finishes the manuscript, she's like, you know what? Most of these I had to rewrite. The first draft of the manuscript that my friend wrote, it was honestly such a lousy first draft. This is actually now my story. The level of delusion that this main character has is wild. At every point, she just surprises me more and more on how shitty she is of a person. I hate her character, but I think in a good way. Like, I hate her because we're supposed to hate her. And I just can't keep reading about how she keeps going crazier and crazier. So yeah, I don't have a rating for this. I haven't finished it. I read until 30% in the flight, and then so far since then, I read until like almost a 50%. That is basically what I read during this trip. I wish I had read more, but at the same time, I did have an amazing time there, and I was not there with the whole purpose of reading, so I'm not gonna be too hard on myself for that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed what I think is gonna be a very short video, but still, if you've read any of these two books, please let me know what you think about it. I know that Yellowface was one of the biggest books coming out last year, and I think it was like in the Goodreads awards and all of that, so definitely let me know your opinions because I am a big fan of Kwan, and I think this is very different to the other books that I've read from her, which is obviously The Poppy War and Babel. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the little video slash vlog. If you do want to see more videos like this, please let me know. I do travel quite often, mostly to Slovakia again because that's where my boyfriend lives, and since we're in a long distance relationship, it's just better to see each other at least once every 1 or 2 months. And if you like this video specifically, please like and comment if you want, and it would mean the world to me if you subscribe to my channel. I make videos every week. Hope you have an amazing day and see you in the next one. Bye!